So
What's that?
That's been a debate forever.
Oh, I know, it's been a debate forever, but we're starting to see
I
it
think we,
become,
but I think
I
we,
think, more problematic. So, come on.
Where's the 22 number come from?
that's there's a your policy, there's a board policy that's giving recommendations for class sizes.
Maximum.
It's a recommendation. So, we made it so far to first grade.
But what you were saying, if we set that at the 22, chances are we are not going to. Right now, is the projected enrollment, the 61 is what we expect, right? I mean,
Yeah, right.
so it's nowhere near the 22.
And we don't have a data point of a huge influx of, we keep this number at 17, therefore we will get 17.
It would probably be highly unusual to
Yeah.
have 17 kindergartners open enrollment.
And at the same time that 17 were to come, we could write the check for a teacher and a half, and one teacher easily, and we would be good. It's the in-between is the issue.
So you talk about it's highly unusual for 17 to open enrollment, I get that. But for us to have kids who aren't part of 4K and move into the community and join us,
Oh, yeah.
it's not unusual for us to gain 8 kids
Yeah.
Okay.
into our kindergarten classroom that were not part of any sort of 4K programming or not even part of our community at that time.
And
Okay, I see what
and
you're
we
saying.
did predict to have more this year, and it didn't happen.
Right.
So we don't have a set pattern is the deal.
No
We
crystal
teed
ball
ourselves
either?
up, and we thought we were set for greater numbers, and then they didn't come when we had thought. So you and your office assistant did a good job of trying to keep track. You had contact points with families, and those ones that were gray areas, it's kindergarten, and they chose different. So it is, it's a little bit of work to be predicting. It does take a crystal ball. So in the past, we've just said, hey, we don't want to cap open enrollment here. We want to keep it wide open. So I have looked at documents and seen, no, just unlimited. In other districts, I've just done unlimited and didn't do this piece here. But by policy, you do have to pass a resolution on seats available. For sure, tonight, the recommendation from working with our Director of Pupil Services, saying these caseloads are right where they need to be. We're staffing ourselves to be in a good position. We already have a lot of move-ins and change that happened over the summer. So we are saying no room for the special education open enrollment in. But if you are currently open enrolled and you're special ed, you're no problem. You could be open enrolled and identified special ed while you're here. If you're a student in-house, that's okay too. It would be just through the applications that are going to come through the spring, we would just say, hey, we don't have any vacancies.
Can you talk about grade 3 here?
Yeah, okay, so right now, we have 3 teachers at that grade level. We're planning to staff it at 3 teachers at that grade level. Administratively, we've discussed and we feel comfortable with the 3. But if we were to have any, like we are actually above our staffing level that we're predicting to do at the 74, it would be shifting a teacher down into 3rd grade. Now, one of the things that, here, let's get really complicated, and let's talk about the fact that we have a K-8 emotional needs program that some of that is self-contained. Those numbers are in this. So in 3rd grade, we have a student that is in self-contained. Therefore, are they taking up a spot of open enrollment? They're not really a part of that. We have students that are intellectual needs students that have a primary teacher that they work with. They are pushed in as much as possible, but they may spend 70% of their time working with the classroom teacher, or working with the special needs teacher versus there. So we've had some ahas too as we're looking at this and saying, yeah, we're okay. We know that these students won't necessarily all be in the classroom. I like the days when we just said unlimited. That was easy.
Yeah, you'd be just as good, because you don't know what's coming in.
Yeah. Which you could, just so you know, you could just say, hey, unlimited, and be done. let the cards fall and see what happens. Having enrollment is a good thing. We're encouraging enrollment in Mayville. Come to Mayville. But unfortunately, if you have IEP, however, our caseloads are too full and we don't have room. That's based upon, well, all this is driven, our conversation is driven about money, finance. We want open enrollment in,
So
we
if
want to decrease out.
there's a family of 4 and one of them fits in special ed, you'd say no.
And that's happening right now in districts all over the state. Yeah, that would take, you could take 3, but we can't take the 4. Okay, so that's what's happening in 3rd grade. I'm gonna go on to the next one. And I'm going to go to 6th grade and say I highlighted that also, because right now we have a 3-person team in 6th grade, Bob.
Yes.
So with 82, that's definitely too large, right? That's not gonna happen. So we're going to shift a teacher. That's what we're looking at, shifting a teacher from one of the 8th grade teams. But the deal is you have a 6th grade house, 7th grade house, 8th grade house, where we would be a team that we're talking about not even doing that. So our discussion right now is that maybe you are a math teacher, you are an English teacher, you are a social studies teacher, and you can teach anywhere in grades, maybe grades 6 and 7, grades 7 and 8. And a lot of this is driven upon budget. So we have to bring to you a budget that does not go this way. So we're trying to figure out what can we do flexibility with staffing, and we'll be having conversations with all of our classroom teachers now that reflect all of this. Ryan is working on the first draft of budget updates now, actually. So within a couple weeks here, we'll be having more data to work with this. This can't wait a couple weeks, this needs to be approved tonight. So really, when it comes to the class size, we're saying like for 8th grade with 76, that fits 75, we would leave it at that. We're saying we would be adding a teacher because at 82, it's just way too much. It goes way beyond the 25 threshold. So just pointing out that it's gonna need a teacher to be added to it. This, I believe we have 4 teachers right now. Bob, am I speaking correctly?
5th grade has 4.
5th grade has, yes.
Yeah.
8th grade has 3. Right now it would be 1 over the number. That's why I highlighted that. So that was it. Thanks, Bob. So 4th grade is the one currently that has 4. We would be shifting one of those up to help support.
5th grade currently has
Someone
4.
keep speaking the same with Rob. Listen to what Bob says, please. Okay, so then when we get to the 9 through 12, one of the pieces in our discussion was, hey, when we say 10th grade, it's CAP, they go to elective classes, they choose their schedule. Like, what would happen is English 10 in a traditional model, those would be some larger class size. But it does not impact their schedule all day long. So if you end up with having 105 in there, I don't think I would change anything. So I don't think that number should be 1. It doesn't make any sense to me that we would do that. It's just using.
Can we make that unlimited?
You could.
That's what I was wondering,
That's-
did you do
yeah.
unlimited for high school?
Sure. Yeah. We could end up with some large sections because here's the other challenge. When you build a schedule with, we'll say right now we're 387, we open this up, great, we end up with 400 students. The challenge is they don't all line up perfectly 25, 25, 25 like that. We can do that at the other grade levels, but when it comes to this, next thing you know, we end up with a section of 30 in math, and it does happen. It might even happen this year, you know, but we just have more of a propensity to do that if you have some larger numbers. I think we would welcome the challenge, and if we had to, you can add an overload on for that, and that's an inexpensive punt for that. So I would be, yes. So I'm much more comfortable not having a cap. If we have 8 students enroll, so you could put unlimited
Okay.
here, just because you're saying, do you have a cap or not?
I'd like to see them check.
My thoughts, based on everything you've said so far, I think it's so smart to say, I'm sorry, we can't do special ed open enrollment. If we, we're having a hard time providing services for students we have with staffing, perfect. I think open enrollment, unlimited open enrollment for high school makes sense, and I think it makes sense to go with this max by policy for early childhood through 8. That work has been done, those policies were made for a reason. Go with it.
Okay. So the one part is that I want to point out that we are currently not staffing 3rd grade by policy by 1 student, right?
Yeah.
So no, we have 1, by many. So by policy, it's saying 22 by 66. So we're over by 8. Just want to call it out.
Mhm.
When does the open roll numbers come in?
Forever.
Oh, I know that. The basic's true.
Janet, when's the window close?
Um,
It opens in February and it
it's
closes
February.
in
let's say, I got the pamphlet right
April.
here.
April.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, cheap.
April 30th,
Okay.
then it opens again July 1st.
This is by the way, this is an internal document that we use too. Doesn't get sent anywhere.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're not absolutely tied to that.
No.
Oh,
No. I would say in the world of special ed, if you said no and all of a sudden you made an exception, you better really get ready because you better just open it all up. In the world of open enrollment, regular ed, I think you have a lot more flexibility. And I would say if you're going to open it, then you're going to open it to as a first come, first served basis. So yeah, so here's the deal. That's a very good point. This is the internal piece by policy, you have to do it. So with this, if we do hit a threshold, which would be an amazing thing, then we'll bring it back and say, okay, we're looking, here's the policy, here's the situation, we're looking for approval. So we'll do that. That's totally fine, you can do that. So I just think that you start to get in a legal matter where if it is, Jim, your children, nope, we got a cat. Joe, bring him, let's go. No way, we can't do that. So we have to make sure we're taking the applications as they come in and dealing with them case by case. Making sure to put, like, chronologically time them too.
From the time that you receive the application and you should give them an answer, what is the time frame?
It's a pretty quick turnaround. So we have, so in the month of April, we will approve them.
I think no,
It's summer.
June. Yep, it's summer. It's summer.
Yeah, well, that's right. So, first is they get a notification that they've been approved. Then from there, they have to say yes or no that they're coming. And they don't have to tell us that until very late.
The letters that go out after, I think they first go out in June.
They do. So
The
letters
the
from
initial
us,
letter that comes from us.
we have to follow the DPI timeline.
And then we also send out letters if there's any alternative apps, telling them that they have to open enroll. Because,
The window goes through April, then the dust settles, and then the approvals, those formally go out it feels like the last week of school, right about that timeline. So the families get notified, yes, your application has been accepted or denied. So we have time to process that, to give you the month of May, basically, for it to do that. So then from there, they still have plenty of time to let us know if they're coming. And even then, they don't have to come. And you don't have to open or roll out. So you don't know till the first day of school, actually, if they're coming or not. So not everybody registers, right? So you seriously are waiting and waiting and waiting, and you don't know till the first day of school.
And these numbers cannot be decided once you have the amount of applications that you have.
I think they can. I think what we're doing is kind of setting a guideline. And what I shared was if there's an exception to be made, we're gonna have to bring it to you though. This is you're formally approving something. So if anything changes out there, we'll bring it to you and say, okay, this is what the bar was set. Here's what we're looking at. Because we may end up having, these are projections, we could be wrong and we could have these seats available. So we could do all this discussion tonight, trying to be strategic, and everything just go kaput like that
So-
on us.
So if we approve, for example, 0 seat availability for 3rd grade. No, for 8th grade. But somebody can submit an application and then,
And then we'll say, hey, yeah,
Right.
we'll wait, because we can't approve it right away anyways. We can't notify them until June. So what we can do is get the numbers here and bring them forward and say, okay, here's what we have going on. Because I don't believe, we don't put these numbers in to the
But, and then
system.
there's a wait list too, you can get put on a wait list.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's basically when they get here, that you have to put the date and the time that you received the app.
Okay. Okay, so, yeah, it's way more complicated, and dialogue's great because we're talking about class sizes, that stuff matters big time. The culture of the district, when it comes to class size, matters big time. We are rural Wisconsin, class size is really important. Small class sizes do matter, I am fully aware of that. So, appreciate all the dialogue. So as of right now, this would be what you're approving.
Change.
With the changes, yep. So this Google Doc was what's live, and you have access to that in your agenda. So when you pass the resolution, this is it, not the PDF. Okay? So this, to me, tonight's, because it was a small agenda, this is really a good example of a board workshop tonight. So it's been a lot of dialogue, and it's very healthy, so thanks for all your feedback.
Any more discussion on this resolution for the open enrollment seats?
So the resolution is to approve what's here in yellow.
Yeah, correct.
The whole sheet, the way he's got it written out.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Basically,
right
the
now,
changes was
He's got
the
the changes
to
There
there.
we
be
go.
unlimited. There you go. Any more questions? Norm?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0. Possible future action items? Announcements?
CISA meeting the other night, we formed a foundation where we can take in money and train teachers. We can't take in money from certain groups unless they're, part of the school districts. And different companies have volunteered to give money to schools, and we're using it for training of all the school districts around here. So they had a separate foundation up for that.
oh, okay.
And then another thing, they might take on the responsibility from EPI for weekend. Is that what it's called?
CISA 6, what are you doing?
No.
Take on weekend. So weekend is actually the state of Wisconsin, where all the jobs are posted. So,
They're not doing so good.
interesting.
I mean, it's not a lot of stuff you can done right.
Yeah, well, they had a weekend update this last summer, wasn't it? The biggest update?
Weekend?
Weekend.
That's
Where
run
people go apply
through,
for jobs.
isn't that run through the University of Wisconsin? Isn't
Yeah,
that where
that's
it's
what I
run
had,
through?
not DPI.
Where is it through?
University of
University.
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. That I didn't-
Interesting.
That I didn't.
Well, it is more of a CISA thing. I could see that. So they want to take over the hub for employment in school districts where the jobs get posted. Okay?
It's pending it. You know, how going through, what is the university? Well,
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Any other announcements? If not, this meeting's adjourned.
All right, thanks everybody.